Okay, this is the recap for Monday, June 1st. So I'll quickly go over what I saw today and the trade that I took. So the first thing I saw coming into the morning is that we've already swept out previous day high on NQ and ES. And if we look at the 1 hour, we also had an SMT here with Asia and London high. From there, we had the daily open, which to me looked like it had opened higher, sweeping out previous day high here. Same thing on ES. And what I wanted to see is pretty much all of these lows here to get swept before looking to take a long. So we had all these stacked lows on the 1 hour and the 15 minute here with previous day low. And if you look at ES, we also had this small daily fair value gap with previous day low. So what I was looking for is for maybe open to trade lower, sweep out previous day low here. We also had this 1 hour gap along with an old new day opening gap that we could possibly hit if we wanted to take a long. But we did have news at 10 a.m. so pretty much my idea was to just wait for 10 a.m. and see what 10 a.m. does. We did have these stacked highs here in this 1 hour gap, so my idea was maybe that we could trade higher at 10 a.m. into this gap or trade lower, sweep out these equal lows that we made at 9, maybe hit this 1 hour gap, form an SMT, something like that would look really good for longs. But what we ended up doing is at 9 we had this big news and we kind of just chopped around open. 9:30 opened higher and we had this data high here. And then once 10 a.m. opened, we didn't really do much. We still had these equal lows. And if you go to the 1 minute, 10 a.m. did open lower, but it didn't really open lower into anything. It just still left these equal lows. Same thing on ES. Opens lower a tiny bit and then we close above it on the 5 minute, but doesn't really, kind of opens into this 5 minute gap here, but doesn't really look good for longs as we still have previous day low right here, the daily gap, and these equal lows here on NQ. So my idea was I saw pretty much 10 a.m. opening lower. We had this 5 minute close above. I wanted to look for some sort of manipulation up here, maybe into 1800 or this 15-minute RB, which was off of 1800, to then look for a short to continue down to these equal lows here. So what I saw is we had this 5 minute range from this 5 minute high. We had 1800 and we had this old new day opening gap that we could close below. So I wanted to see something, maybe a 1 minute rejection block out of maybe equilibrium or this 15-minute rejection block here. So what ended up happening is we traded a bit higher, and the first thing we had was this 1 minute rejection block right here, just out of this 5 minute gap and out of equilibrium. This was a little too soon for me to take a short because 10 a.m. did open lower and we had closed above it already, so this didn't look like super bearish. So I wanted to see if we could resweep this high and hit this new day opening gap and maybe OTE of the 5-minute range and then look for a short. So I waited for that, and then eventually we did resweep this high, and we had this 1 minute which looked decent, but still I wasn't so sure about this because ES still looked pretty bad. Like I wanted to see maybe this high get swept, and then we could have an SMT. So what we did is we finally resweep this high into this 15-minute. So, oh, this looks weird. We eventually hit this 15-minute. And once we hit this 15-minute, we have this 1 minute. So this 1 minute looked good to me because it was off of this 15-minute rejection block here. Here's a 15-minute. So we had this 15-minute rejection block. We had 1800 right here. This new day opening gap. And this 5-minute gap. And we had these 1 minute lows here, these stack lows, and we saw these equal lows down here. And if you look at ES at this time, what's this? 1024. We were still reacting off of 1800 here on ES and this new day opening gap. So I went ahead and entered here off of this 1 minute and targeted the equal lows down here. But if you look at ES here, let's see. We were pretty uncorrelated, so you can see ES was pretty close to 10 a.m. here. So what I did is I pretty much closed right around here once ES hits 10 a.m. So it was right around here. So I closed early because 10 a.m. or ES hits 10 a.m. So I didn't really want to be in this trade any longer. As also this price action just looked pretty terrible, especially on ES. It looked really choppy. And we did actually end up resweeping this high here, so it's good that I got out early. Didn't really think we would go down to these lows if we didn't go for them right away. So it looks like we're still coming a bit higher. Maybe we get something out of this 15-minute, but with it being a Monday and with this news that came out before open, we maybe just chop. This is just pretty choppy overall, but we still have these equal lows as a draw. So that was my idea, was pretty much to just look for a short to this, like the most obvious draw, along with like previous day low being still here on ES. So that was my pretty much idea in my trade. Just a small trade because yeah, didn't really want to hold through this price action. We were like really uncorrelated. You can see how ES looks like. Pretty much just chop. So yeah, not the best day to trade. But overall, like got something small. So yeah, that's pretty much what I saw today. Hopefully that makes sense. And we'll see what we do from there.